Right, folks, as you probably, well, you all know. Right, folks, welcome to another brand new episode of Fitpod. And in this episode, we are going to be talking about some very sensitive topics in the South Asian community. And some of those topics are, right, toxic masculinity, divorce rates in our society, polygamy, which is a very big one at the moment, and you know, how it's done and how it's not supposed to be done, and mixed marriages and all other aspects that within our community, and people don't talk about it. So it's quite a sensitive topic. We'll try and not upset a lot of people, but if you do, then tough. I have in the studio with me Mr. Javaid from Clear Sky Legals, from up north Bradford, who's kindly took his time out, drove down in this torrential rain and made it here. And hopefully we can have this really open and honest discussion of what you go through. Obviously, I'm happily married, and hopefully I won't need your services.
Hopefully.
So I want to begin with, well, sorry, now you can say thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you very much for inviting me. There you go. So thank you very much for inviting
Basically,
me.
we've had this really fantastic introduction off camera, and we've just been laughing our heads off. And because of that, I totally forgot about that. So thank you very much for your time, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
And I'm actually really glad you got in touch with me and over TikTok. Was it TikTok or Instagram? TikTok.
One of the two, yeah. I think it might have been TikTok.
And it was really nice, that little conversation over the phone we had. And I thought, you know what, this is... And I've been meaning to find somebody with a professional background, not just a bro off the road, to have this conversation with and to discuss where these problems are and how can we tackle them. And my first question to you is, how do you define toxic masculinity? Let me ask you a counter question to that.
Okay.
Because everyone thinks that they are doing right. No one can think that, or no one thinks that they're toxic.
Yeah.
Right? No one will say, no, I am toxic. Everyone will say, I'm the man of the house. This is what it is. It's either my way or your way, you know, in layman's terms.
Yeah, I mean, that is one definition of toxic masculinity. The problem is it's not the definition, it's the actions. So there's no one definition of toxic masculinity within the Asian community. What it is we've had generations of patriarchy, right? So we've grown up, dad's always right, the granddad's always right, X, Y, Z. That's been going on for generations. That then seeps downwards. And once it seeps down in this generation, and certainly the generation below, certainly the generation below me, they're not going to accept that, and they're much more aware of their own rights, B, of a wider world out there. Now, with toxic masculinity, what it effectively is, like you said, it's my way or the highway. But when they say my way, it's a very narrow worldview. It's a narrow worldview that is probably born of generations before, the way we grew, or the way the grandparents and great-grandparents lived in Pakistan, India, where the man did everything, there was nothing else, and it was just, this is the way I'm going to do it. Women's role is minimized. That's basically what it is. And the male is then elevated beyond anything. But for me, it's not a matter of elevating the male. It's about bringing the female up as well. And it's about looking at things in equal way. I don't believe in equality. Let me put that out straight away. I'm putting that out there. I don't believe in equality, not in the traditional sense. Now, when I say traditional, men and women are equal. No, they're not, because men can't have babies, right? So straight away, the argument's gone. It's gone, right? So we're not equal. Biologically, we're not equal. Psychologically, we're not equal. Islamically, we're not equal. In every single way, we're not equal. However, we are equally important. Right, and that's what a lot of the young men, or even old men, I suppose, who propagate toxic masculinity, I can barely say the word, right? But we know what it is.
Yeah,
that's what they need to realize, is that a woman's importance is as much as a man. They're not equal. They're just equal. They're equally different. They both bring something to the marriage, something to the household. That now in this generation needs to be propagated more. We need to say, okay, fine, you're the man, you're the big I am, you can do X, Y, Z. But I tell you something, without a woman, you ain't doing nothing. But you need to now recognize that. Before it was a given. She's my wife. She's not even a person. She's there. She's just this object. She cooks, she cleans, she gives me kids, she makes all, everything's happy, fine. I don't need to take into account her feelings, her thoughts, what she might want in life, her ambitions, nothing like that. Can't do that anymore. Simple as that. Just can't do it.
Why do you think that is?
Generationally, that's what we've been taught. South Asian men from, I don't care what religion you're from, because I don't think it's a religion thing, it's a culture thing. So you're from India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, them ways of the world, even further beyond, I'd say, the men held all the cards. The men did the work. The men brought in the food. The men went hunting. The men built houses. The men did everything. And so it became I'm the bloke. It became a little bit Flintstones. I'm the main guy. I'm like Fred Flintstone. I'm going to do everything. And that's just been passed down. However, society's moved on. Society's moved on now. So you can't, you know, if you look at Pakistan, you look at Bangladesh, you look at India, we've had female prime ministers. You've had Indira Gandhi, you've had Sheikh Hasina, you got Benazir Bhutto. Here, obviously, you had Margaret Thatcher and the two that didn't really do that well. You know, Liz Truss, brilliant, well done. I'm making sense of Liz. She really set everybody back. But anyway, so what I'm saying is that
she didn't do a good job for females, did she?
Well, she didn't do a good job full stop, to be honest. But I think that she's what she was. You know, let's bring out mini budget and collapse the country. Yay.
Yeah.
You know, well done. And Kwasi Kwarteng just went, I'm out of here, man. This is yours. It's got nothing to do with me. I didn't do anything. But anyway, that's a side issue. But society's moved on, and these sort of traits of toxic masculinity need to move on with it. You can't
So
have that
are you
anymore.
saying
You're
that
gonna alienate
men
children.
should dumb themselves down a little bit?
No, don't dumb yourselves down. Don't dumb yourselves down. All you got to do is open your eyes a little bit more. So basically, at the moment, you're doing this, all right? You got like, you know, blinkers on you. You just open it up a little bit more and go, actually, you know what? Maybe I should take that into account. I should take that into account. I should do this. I should do that. I should do everything. I've seen people, when they propagate this kind of narrative of I'm the man, I'm the man, you're going to get your wife rebelling. You're going to get your children rebelling. You're going to lose that relationship. You're going to lose these people that are key to your life. Over what? I'm the big I am. It's my way or the highway. Well, now people have got the opportunity to say, well, actually, it's the highway. I'm not going to do it your way. We don't live in 1940s Pakistan where the woman would turn around and think, shoot, if he leaves me, if he divorces me, where am I going to go? Culturally, my parents won't take me back. We're talking 1940s, 50s, India, Pakistan, right? My parents aren't going to take me back. The kid's going to be homeless or whatever. I've got nowhere to go. I've got no economic viability in the future. I can't go out and work and I'm not set my own business, blah, blah, blah. Right? So they stayed there. And that kind of gave the men that right, and it gave them that freedom to kind of think, I am the big I am the Chaudhry, I'm going to do what I want. Now, it's not going to work. You do that, your wife's going to say, thank you very much, I'm out of here, and I'm going to go get a council house, and I'm going to divorce you, and I'm going to take half of your money and half of the house, and I'm going to take the kids with me, and yada, 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 yada. So for your own, I would say, self-preservation, you need to start getting rid of that sort of ideology. And I've seen it so many times, especially up north. It's still, I'm the big I am. My daughter's not getting married to that guy because I said so. Oh, you know what? Your daughter's just legged it and she's got married anyway. What are you going to do? What, drag her back by her hair? No, this is England. It's not Pakistan. We don't live in the Pind.
See, that kind of, how can I put that? That kind of society or mentality will only take you as far as you want it to go.
Yeah.
Right? And how does that affect your mental health then afterwards? Because now she's run away.
So who's this, the father or the daughter?
The father. But
it's whether he can know. If he's like a toxic male, if he's a narc, he's not going to understand it. He's not going to, because he's still going to be so stuck. The needle is going to be stuck of, but I'm still the man. I'm still I am. I'm still I am. He's not going to think, hang on a minute. Maybe it's something I did. Maybe it's something that the way I am has basically brought us to where we are, where my daughter or my son has had to run away to marry somebody. And now I'm bereft of that relationship. They won't think that because they're so ingrained in their own thinking. And that's what it is, that they need to open up a little bit. And I see it. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I've seen people who are older than me. One generation, I'd say half a generation above myself, where they've kind of like gone, you know what, we're going to open up society a little bit. You know, we're not going to get married to our first cousins anymore. They don't have to be the same caste. which is a big thing in Pakistani community.
Yeah.
They don't have to be from the same village or from the same city. Let's just, okay, let's open it up. And you've got people who are opening up a little bit further and further afield now. So I've got a very, very close friend whose family, we call him the United Colours of Benetton, because he's literally got everybody in his family. So he's got one cousin who's married to a Vietnamese Muslim. He's got another cousin who's married to a French Muslim. He's got his brother, who I know really well, he's married to a Chinese Muslim. And it's literally like, you go to the house and it's like, it's a United Nations meeting. You just go, you look around going, oh, this is like all the shades, all the colours under one sun. But one generation above that, they wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
One generation above, they would have, no. Your first cousin or someone from the village or something, because I need to keep up my prestige or whatever the reason behind it was. You can't do that now. This generation will not accept it. Simple as that. And you're just going to ruin relationships.
But you know, when you say the man has to do everything, isn't that like just the normal thing though?
In terms of when you say man has to do like, everything,
you know, the household stuff, go be the breadwinner, and you know, doesn't that how the society used to work for?
Used to
before,
yes.
But why has it changed now? Why?
Opportunity, and why shouldn't it change? Is my argument. Okay, you've got women now in very, very high paid jobs. Yeah. They're climbing the career ladder. There's no reason why they shouldn't be able to juggle the household and do what they're doing, and for the man not to help out a little bit. It might not just be, I'm not saying, you know, you should put on like an apron and start baking a cake, but you can help out in other ways where it's just light and, you know, what, like I said earlier, the roles were very defined 1 generation, 2 generations ago. You're going to stay at home, like my mum, my dad, right? My dad came in this country in 1957, so he's one of the very early immigrants. My mum joined him in 66. My brother was born in 67. She joined him in 66, and my mum's never worked her whole life because the roles were very defined. Yeah. I'm going to go out to the mills, up north, obviously, Bradford. I'm going to go out to the mills. I'm going to spin yarn. I'm going to do this. And you're going to cook, and you're going to have the kids, and you're going to clean the house, and you're going to make sure every time anybody comes, there's tea made, and there's everything, and blah, blah, blah. That was the clear, defined lines between roles, between a husband and a wife, a man and a woman. Mm-hmm. Now, you can't do that. Now it's a case of, well, hang on a minute, I've been to uni, I'm educated, I've got these job opportunities, I'm going to take that. But that doesn't preclude me then from also making the tea. And it should be vice versa as well. It has to be much more fluid now, because that's what society is demanding. Society moves on, times move on, generations move on. If we're stuck in that same rut, then we're not making any progress. And the biggest thing about one generation after another is we have to make progress.
But don't you think that these were our values?
They're not values. They're not values. Values is not defined by subjugating somebody. So you can't say, my value is that I'm a toxic male. Right, okay, is that your value? So what does that entail? You're going to repress the woman. You're going to repress your daughters. You're going to tell your son that he has to get married at the age of 16 to his first cousin in Pakistan who's got a wispy little tash. So you've got... honestly, they usually do. I've seen them. I've seen these pictures.
I try to keep this very serious.
Yeah, no, I've seen the pictures. Right, so what I'm saying is, you know, so are those your values? They're not your values. Now, your values are defined by how you treat people. So, you know, your values are basically, am I being nice to my elders? Am I being nice to my youngers? Do I treat the poor well? Do I do this well? Do I do that? If somebody comes to me, how am I going to do it? Those are your values. These are traits that have been passed down generationally. That's all they are. You need to get rid of them. Simple as that.
So what challenges do the new mindset bring compared to the old one? Like, give me old households, okay, 40s, 50s, 60s, men did the outside work. 100%. They bought the money. The women looked after the house and raised up the kids. But today, if you look at it, men and women are doing the houseworking, right? They're going and bringing the bread in, the money in. But then there's no one looking after the children.
There is.
And then that's where the children kind of just go all over the place.
No, it depends. See,
because then that's another thing.
Right,
as well.
That is another thing. Now, I'm at
so
an
wouldn't
age
you? I would prefer. This is my. That's how I've kind of looked at life in my only 38 humble years. Is that my wife will look after the little one, right? If she wants to do something when he's old enough. But for now, I want her to give him 110%.
Okay.
Because she's educated. She's not like she was a school teacher, primary school teacher, everything. She did what she did. But now I would like her, and I've asked her, we sat down and said, look, I want you to Concentrate on the little one.
Let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
You sat down and you asked her. There's the change, right? You sat down and you asked her. You had a discussion. I'm not that different from you. I'm a bit older than you, 10 years, right? But
48 humble years.
48 humble years, even though I look about 63, but it's absolutely fine.
It's all the Asian bros that have come to you, giving you a hard life.
That's basically what it is, man. So, I've got 3 little nippers, and well, they're not so little anymore, but my missus is the same. We sat down, we had a discussion, said, we've got a little kid, maybe, you want to take a step back or you want to work part-time or whatever, because she's in an industry where she has to work to keep her license thing going. So I was like, okay, you can just do whatever you're happy with, you do that, right? Because what you don't want to do is enforce it. See, if you told me that you told your wife, there's a big difference between saying I told my wife and we sat down and had a discussion. Now, sat down and had a discussion is already a massive movement from my parents and that generation above them. So that's obviously, come down. Now, the challenges you were saying, I grew up in the 80s. We grew up in a very Pakistani household, Bradford, right? Mum can't speak English. Dad got by with limited English. Everybody around us, terrace houses, everybody around us was Pakistani. Same culture, same everything. Brilliant childhood. I'm not one of them who starts knocking my childhood and say, I grew up in poverty and, there were all bins on streets and all, and none of that crap. We loved it. I had the best childhood ever. And all of us were brilliant. However, we grew up with certain thoughts and certain ideologies. Now, my kids are in their teens now. So I've got a daughter who's in her late teens. I've got a son who's in his teens as well, only a year older. I'm having to navigate that now because they're of a generation that they've got Snapchat. They've got PS5s. They've got access to, mobile phone freely. They've got access to the internet. They've got access to YouTube. We never had any of that. They've got access to a billion things that we didn't have. Now, as someone who's 48 and growing up and at their age, we had nothing. Yeah, apart from playing out and all the other stuff, rounders and itty and down, all that stuff, right? We didn't have any of that. So I'm having to navigate with them. But what I have to do, very consciously, is you have to put your upbringing in the background and try to then sort of have a connection with them. See, if I do to my children what my parents did with me, because that's all they knew was like, listen, eat, do your homework, go to bed. We're not going to talk about feelings and emotions. What are you talking about? We're not going to talk about what do you mean what you did today? You went to school. What else do you do today? You know what I mean? Like, do one, right? We can't do that in this generation. Because the worries and troubles we had when we were growing up was nothing compared to these lot.
Yeah.
You see, we never got bullied on Snapchat. We never had people body shaming us. We didn't have people with all these new buzzwords. We just went to school, did our thing, and everybody was the same. See, when I grew up, everybody's dad worked in a mill.
Yeah.
Everybody's. This is the early 80s, before taxi was, before the Asians went properly into taxis. Everybody's dad worked in a mill. Everybody's mum stayed at home. During Ramadan, you'd wake up and start looking out the terrace windows going, she's not woken up. She's not woken up. That was literally what my mum used to do. Literally, I'm like, Mum, leave it, man. I just want roti and go back to bed. Look at that one. She never wakes up for us. But those are my memories of childhood. Awesome. Now, my daughter comes home. Oh, so-and-so said this, and then so-and-so did this, blah, blah. And I've got to listen, and I've got to react, and I've got to think, okay, I need to
show that you care.
Show, and because if I don't, I'm just, go, eat, go sleep. That's it. That's the difference. That is generationally moving forward.
Oh my God. I'm just trying to keep this very professional, very serious.
No, but it is funny because when I look back on it, and I always say, me and my friends talk, and I tell you what's really, really funny. Yeah, it's funny, but it's very relatable if you're of a certain generation. Half of me is still a product of my parents.
Yes. And
half of me wants to be this new age dad.
Yes.
And I'm
the same.
Right. Now that dichotomy in your head, that push and pull is really, really, really difficult. So I'll have my daughter, she's like I said, she's in her teens. She'll come to me and she'll say, oh, I don't know, some girl, Maliha's got a crush on Heather at school, and oh my God, and it's like blah blah. Half of me's got, do you talk? I'm your dad. You can't talk to me like that. Yeah. Whoa, we don't care. We don't talk about these things because that's my upbringing. Yeah. We don't. Half of me's going, yeah, actually, yeah. So tell me, how's she handling it? So what's she doing about it? And that kind of ding 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 in my head is constant. Because half of me does want to turn into my own dad and go up there and you go upstairs. We don't talk about stuff like that. Because we never did. I can go up to my mum and say, Mum, I got this crush on this girl. And, you know, and mum go, huh? What are you talking about? You want to go to Pakistan and get married? I'm going, Mum, that's not what I said. That's no. That's not what I said. Well, I said, because that's how they grew up and that's the way we grew up.
But don't you think that, again, I get that. I get that. You need to have that balance. But
100%.
Don't you think it's a very, very sensitive balance? Because then your children will treat you like a friend and not like a parent.
Yes. Right, and that is a very, very good point because I've seen that happen. And
I've been to the respect level gone?
Yeah, now I've been to the edge of it. Now, what I always say is if you have, people have different terms for it. I call it bolt-ons. And when I say bolt-ons is this thing is immovable. You're not going to, you know, and that, if you instill that into your children and say, listen, I'm your dad, so certain things are non-negotiable. Yeah. Like when I speak to my kids, I say certain things are not negotiable. Yeah. I'm not going to negotiate, let's say, whether you're going to do your homework. Does that make sense? Or whether you're going to do X, Y. These things are not, you know, do you want to fast this month? Are you all right? Are you up to it? Are your energy levels all right? No, not negotiable. You're going to keep Rosa. You know, do you want to pray Salah? Are your knees hurting? No, you're going to pray, you know. So certain things are non-negotiable, and that comes as a parent. Yeah. As a parent, you're basically saying, listen, as your dad, I'm implementing this. This is non-negotiable. You're doing right? And that is also values as well. Yeah, so if someone 100%. Comes to your house, there's a certain way you're going to act or a certain way you should approach them. There's a certain level of respect that they, by their very nature, command. And sometimes it's almost by default. Like my children, my older sister, I'll tell you, funny, my older sister is 3 years older than me. But we grew up again, the way we grew up. Right? She's 3 years older than me. She's about 5 foot nothing. Yeah, and she's a bit loud. Now, because she's my sister, when she comes to our house, I'm her younger brother. Yeah. So I'm like, come on, sit down, everything on it. And my kids, as they've grown up, thinking, hang on a minute. We know that's our auntie, it's our thingy papa. But Dad's like, quite, not scared of her, but like, he's always really relaxed and he's very like, you know, very respectful. Yeah. Like, so there must be something about us. So therefore, we have to, you know, like we have to do it as well. Yeah. But as they've grown up and they've reached, let's say, teenage years, they've realized that actually it's a brother-sister thing, it's a generational thing. That's the way we did things when we were, if someone elder came to our house, we had that slight more respect. Yeah. Does that make sense? Like, you know, nowadays you can be 10, 12 years apart and people will be calling you by your name. Yeah. You know, like, you know, and I'm like going, really? When we, you know, when I was growing up, even if someone was 3 years old or 4 years, it was always a title. You know, it was Baji or Lala or Papa or something like that. Nowadays, it's like, are you all right, Jav? I'm like, you're 19. why, you know? But that's the generation we're living. But we're just mates,
don't
aren't we?
You think, but that's again, a little parental...
It's a parental thing. It's a parental thing. See, but they always say it's by... Children learn by example. Yeah. The examples you set are what children are going to learn. Yeah. And when people say, oh, this generation, I say, no. This is what I found in my experience is there's a generation of Asian people that didn't get to live their life because of the way their parents were, whether they were first generation or they were more strict. Now, what they're doing is that they're vicariously living their life through their children, right? So I see these little kids who are like, I don't know, 5, 6 years old. They got a diamond stud in. They got tram lines going there. They got tram line going here. They got, you know, everything going on. And, you know, someone might say, oh, my God, look at that kid. He's so spoiled. I'm like, no. That kid's 6. He didn't go to the barber and say, can I get trams put in? Yeah. He didn't go to the jewelers and say, can I get a diamond? That's his parents. Now, then you've got to question yourself, why are his parents doing that? Is it because they didn't get to do it? Is it some almost wish fulfillment that they're trying to do because they think, well, we didn't get to do it. And I hear that a lot. People say, well, I didn't get to do this when I was growing up, so my kids are going to get to do it. And I was thinking, no. But that was a different time. It was a different set of circumstances. It was a different thing. It might have been okay for you to do it then if your parents had allowed it, but maybe it's not okay for your kids to do it because it might lead them somewhere else. True. So, you know, you can't basically implant that here now because you didn't get to do something, you're going to make your kids do it. And then you're going to complain afterwards that they've gone off the rails. Yeah. But that's you doing it. So this is the sort of, you know, when you say that generational haze, almost, you're trying to navigate your way. So our parents didn't have to navigate because that's the way they were taught by their parents. Yeah. And they were
very set in their ways.
They were set. We can't. Like I said, we belong in a generation of TikTok, of Instagram, of, you know, YouTube, of putting videos up for 10, 20 seconds. If we're not on board with our kids, we're not going to know what they're doing. You know, I'll tell you funny. I'll tell you. When I was growing up, my friends, I'll say it, but my friends used to smoke weed.
Yeah.
It was a common thing when you're growing up. You know, you're 16, 17. I never touched it because I had my basically medical issues, and they used to get stoned. They'd go home. Now, if you get stoned, anybody who's watching, they know your eyes go red. You're a little bit dazed. They'd go home, and literally, I've gone with them, and the mum's gone, "You didn't sleep all last night, did you? Look, your eyes are all red, and you look so tired. You didn't sleep like, you know," because his mum is from Pakistan. She's in her early 50s. She doesn't know what weed is. She doesn't know the concept. She knows nothing. Her son's just coming like this, bloodshot red eyes. You know, a little bit of Snickers hanging off there, obviously. And mum's gone, "You're really tired, but you need to go to sleep. You obviously didn't sleep last night," not knowing he's stoned. Yeah. Now, our generation, my kids came home, God forbid, let's say, a little bit. I'd be like, "Hang on a minute, mate. First of all, I can smell it. Second of all, you'll be stoned, right?"
Literally.
Literally, yeah. Not only are you stoned, you are going to be stoned. Wife, open the cellar door. Just throw him straight in, all the way down. But, you know, that's the difference. That's between then and now. We have to be a bit more malleable. We have to be a bit more sort of flexible.
Clued up. What do you think of having your children not having phones up to the age of, say, 17, 18, or when they go college, when they need a phone? Because I see a lot of children now, 10, 11, you know, you're on Snapchat, you're on TikTok.
Babysitters.
Why?
Babysitters. Literally. That's all the phones are. They're just babysitters. Because now parents, it's babysitting and it's giving into peer pressure. See, if you're a parent and your kid's just, you know, jumping off the walls and won't settle down, what are you going to do? Here's a phone. Here's a pad.
Yeah.
Go knock yourself out. Here's a PlayStation 5. All these things are interlinked. So I don't differentiate between a phone and a pad and the PlayStation or any games console, let's just say, right? Because what are they there for? They're there as distractions. They're there as basically, I can't deal with this, or I don't want to communicate with this child in a proper way. Therefore, I need a proxy, which is now going to calm that child down. It's almost child medicine. So you got a headache, you take ibuprofen or paracetamol, right? It resolves the issue. What parents are using now technology for is to resolve. What they don't realize is that they're also exposing the children to the world at the age of 7, 8, 9. And I always say, and I've insisted on this, on any given device, you're 2 clicks away from crazy.
Oh,
you're 2 clicks away from crazy.
100%.
Right? So why are you knowingly or unknowingly, wittingly or unwittingly going to expose your child to that world at the age of 7, 8, 9, 10? Yeah. I know kids who are like 10, 11. They've got their own TikTok account. They're posting videos.
I know. That's scary, you know.
And I'm like going, wow, like, you know, and they're exposed to adult content. They're exposed, and it's not so much the exposure, which is a problem, the exposure. They don't have zero concept of it.
Yeah.
So all they're going to do is mimic. That's all they're going to do. And you know, you just end up in a really dark, ugly place. And then the parents go, "I don't know what's wrong with them." Well, you've given him a phone since he was 7. Yeah. And you didn't put any boundaries on it. You didn't do anything. You didn't, you know, I don't know, put parental controls or whatever. You used it as a babysitter. Used it. There was a story not so long ago. It was on the BBC News. This girl sat and played her console for 18 hours straight. She pooed and peed on the spot. There, sat in the living room. Parents didn't have a clue because they thought she's quiet.
Wow,
leave her alone. She's, you know, she's on her own.
Total zombied out.
Total zombied out. There was a 3-year-old. This clip went quite viral. I think there was a 3-year-old who they gave a magazine to, and the 3-year-old was tapping it and swiping it because the whole life, all the thing is a bloody pad, which she knew how to do this. So when they gave her an actual physical book, I'm like, it's going to go in like that. Wow. So that's, you know, that's where we've got to. This is where, and then, like I said, then we complain about X, Y, Z. Why is my child into this, that, and the other? It's there.
See, the thing is, like, we do these things to ourselves without knowingly. Yes. Now, I'll be honest with you. I do that sometimes. I give the phone to my little one or whatever. I do it. I'm not going to lie. But on the flip side, now he's only he's just coming up to 2. And when I say give him the phone, it's literally like a few minutes distracting of something.
It's 2 years old.
Take it off him. And then, but when I'm at home, most of the time, I try not to do it and try to play with him or interact with him. Regardless if he wants to stand on the windowsill, let him stand on there, stand with him.
That is it. Because you know what? That isn't anything new. That's what's been going on for centuries.
Yeah.
This is the only generation where we've had this kind of technology.
Yeah.
And it's not just this kind of technology. It's the rapid ascent of technology. You know, going from, let's say from the year 2000 to 2025 almost, 25 years, where technology has come to is scary.
Yeah.
Absolutely scary. And you have to have that one-to-one time. You have to have that personal interaction.
Oh, yeah.
With children.
Definitely.
You can't just hire babysitters. And that's all these consoles and these pads and these phones are. I mean, like I said, once in a while, I mean, I do it. I'm not going to lie. I've got a couple of phones at home and the kids, you know, have access to them, even though they're a little bit older. They have access to them. But you go, okay, you got a time between, you know, I don't know, 6 o'clock and 7:30. Knock yourself out. But I'm going to check the history, by the way, and I'm going to keep sneaking up on you. And I'm going to see this, so you don't do anything silly.
Keep an eye on it.
Keep an eye on it. Oh, we've got parental controls on it, etc. That's it. But a lot of people just kind of go, boom, there you go.
Yeah.
So, you know, and what is it? He wants one. What's wrong with it?
He doesn't even know what it is.
It's you wanting to give it to him.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's literally.
It's like I put up a post not long ago about what's more important, screen time or bad nutrition for the child.
Yeah.
You know.
Nutrition.
Okay.
Screen time. That's worse.
Screen time. Someone made a point actually. He said screen time is not as bad nutrition because screen is something that they will grow into regardless.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, screen is the new thing anyway.
100%.
Right? So that's they are learning a skill. I thought, okay, and then he said in terms of bad nutrition, you are feeding shit to your child that is not supposed to be eaten. And that gives you more damage.
I tell you about the equally damage. One is feeding shit in the body, and the other one is feeding shit in the mind.
Yes.
Right? And it's equally bad. However, the body, you can handle sooner or later. Like basically, you can turn around and say, you know what? I'm not going to eat chips anymore. I'm not going to eat this anymore. When it's in your head, it's in your head.
True.
You ain't getting it out.
Yeah.
You're not getting it out. And especially, and these things are quite addictive.
Yeah.
They're very addictive. I know kids who like I've got my son. I know sometimes I have to prize him off Fortnite. Like literally to the point when I'm going 5 minutes, 10 minutes later, 5 minutes. And I'm like, you know what? Now I'm going to turn into that other half of the dad, you know, the one I mentioned earlier, where you take a slipper off and say, mate, you switch that off or that PlayStation's going out the window.
Yeah.
Right? Because I've been nice. I've done the, you know, nice dad now.
I've done the 25th century dad.
Yeah, I've done the 2025. I'm going to 1975, mate. I'm taking off that butter like slipper and it's going straight into your head and it's big and it's leathery and it's going to hurt.
And it's heavy.
And it's heavy. And then I'm going to lock you in the cellar. Yeah, and I'm going to get you married because when he's 16 over Fortnite. If you think it's worth it, do it.
Crack on with it.
Crack on with it. But you know, you have to do it.
You
because
have to.
if not, literally all you're filling their heads is just crap.
It's crap. It's just scary. And I said to my wife, look, I know screen time is bad. Everyone says it's bad, but his nutrition should be on point.
But that's in your control.
Yeah,
See, nutrition is completely in your control.
Yeah.
When you hand that device over to the child,
then
you've lost the control.
Yeah,
because you know he's going to click ding ding ding. Next minute he's on whatever it is. You know what I mean?
You know what he's done once, and we didn't even know this. We found out the next morning. My nieces are calling me. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning. My sister calls me. She goes, "Do you know what Mikhail's done?" I says, "What?" He's uploaded a video on TikTok. I went, "What?" And he's only 1.5.
Yeah.
Right, so he's probably just messed about. And I go, "What? Really?" Yeah. And he's put some gangster music on there. I go, "Oh my God." Quickly went on my wife's phone. I said, "What? Look what it's done." And you could see like just his top of his head, just his hair, and some gangster music.
You got a content creator there. You need to nurture that talent.
Quickly got rid of it.
This is what I've seen 12, 13-year-olds, you know, upload crap.
Yeah.
Because now the other thing with social media, which is an absolute pain, is everybody wants validation.
Oh yeah. You need certain amount of likes to be happy and to have a good day.
You know, it's like I've got 3,000 friends on Instagram. How many friends have you got in real life? That's a good point. We don't care about that anymore.
No, we don't.
It's like, I've got 1,500 new followers and I've got this and I've got that, and you're going, what happened to just conversing with people? What happened to actually picking the phone up and saying, do you want to meet? Do you want to meet up tomorrow? Do you want to do this? Yeah. Now it's like when I upload something on Instagram, people are like, I need 1,000 likes. I need this. I had my son, he was doing something on Snap, and he sent me something, and I was like, why have you sent me this? And he went, oh, I'm trying to do a snap streak. Oh, what's a snap streak? And apparently, I still don't understand it, because it's beyond my control. He's like, apparently you have to send it, or you have to keep doing something every day, and you get this streak, like basically unbroken.
Yeah.
I'm going, but why?
I know.
Because again, it's just become the thing. So everybody, like this, everybody's just doing it. So nobody's actually stopped and gone, like during the pandemic, we need bog rolls, everybody's going, but nobody stopped and went, hang on a minute, mate. Why do we need bog rolls? Yeah. Why are we, no, everybody's doing it. Everybody just do it. Everybody just do it. And it's the same. And I'm like going, this is social media.
Yeah.
And it's literally crazy, absolutely crazy. And I was saying to a friend of mine, it's really scary because you don't know anything on social media.
You don't know anyone.
You don't know anyone. You don't know anything. It just could be, it's just a very, very scary world. I mean, like I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm very rarely on Facebook. I'm on social media mainly for work.
Yeah.
And you're always a little bit like, you look at something and kind of go, I don't know what I just watched. Like someone's uploading them jumping off a table.
Yeah.
You're going, and you're going, I don't.
And then everyone's doing the same.
Yeah, and
thing.
I'm like going, did I miss an email? Did I miss a memo? Was I asleep when this lesson was taught in school? Like, it's just bonkers, absolutely bonkers. But that is, whether we like it or not, whether we accept it or not, that's the way of the world. Yeah. That's where our children are heading. Yeah. So we need to now be plugged into that to make sure that they're safe and make sure that they know what they're doing, rather than just going, because I don't know about it, whatever, leave them to it. Yeah. Can't do that.
See, that's the problem with our society today is we're so disconnected from our families that we wanna provide them everything from our side. We're doing very good for them, but we're not spending time with them. And I always say that to everyone: we are not spending time with them. There's no good having a Mercedes parked outside your drive when your son or your daughter is out and you don't know where she is and she doesn't like you because you were never there when they grew up.
Now,
so I've always
why
said
is that though? See, why wasn't he or she there for the daughter when she was growing up? That's my first question. And secondly, is it too late to mend that fence?
Because he thought, she wanted that Mercedes or she wanted that big house.
So it just comes down to things then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But the problem with things is, the crazy aspect of life is when you die, which everybody's going to die, nobody's going to remember how many Mercedes you had. Yeah. Nobody's going to remember how many houses you had. They're just going to say things about you. Oh, Flana was a nice guy. Flana was a nice guy.
Or
and you're not taking it with you.
Son is a very nice guy, or a daughter's a very nice guy.
And they always say, from an Islamic perspective, certainly from where I'm sat, an Islamic perspective is obviously one of the wealth that you leave behind is your children who are going to pray for you and who can do sadaqah in your name and stuff like that.
Did I just say so-and-so's daughter was a nice guy? I think that's what I just said.
Sorry maybe she, identifies as a nice guy. We're in 2024. Let's not be prejudicial, okay? There's 98 pronouns now. I did that at work. I said I identify as a door frame. I didn't do any work all day. Don't be discriminatory. It's crazy, right? But that's the way of the world. I identify as a penguin. All right, then.
All right, can you just crack on with the work?
Yeah, I did that at the bank, actually, but it didn't work. I walked in and said, can I have £1 million? I identify as a millionaire.
What did they say?
No, but I said, how dare you discriminate? I identify as a millionaire. Yeah, I demand my money. No, mate, there's the road. I went, all right, then, worth a try.
Came back. It's a normal person.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Right, maybe not.
I'll just identify as a £20 note instead. Let's be more realistic.
I want to talk about the big question somebody asked me to do about polygamy and how our brothers are taking this, how should I say, this opportunity, I should say, and make it to do what they need to do in the society. Now, there's Islamic law to it, there's the Western law to it. Obviously, you know better. You deal with divorces and marriages and problems here and there. What's your take on it, and how toxic has it become now that people say, oh, you know, it's my right, I can do it, and not taking a lot of things in consideration before making that step?
Well, firstly, legally, you can only have one wife. That's illegal. So if you've got married from Pakistan, let's say, you brought your wife over, she's your legally wedded wife. You got married here, you went to the registrar, you registered it, that's your legal wedded wife. Any subsequent wife won't be legal. It'll be your Islamic wife, which is not recognized in this country. So that's the first thing. Second wives are not recognized legally in this country. Islamically, you could do what you like because they don't believe in Sharia law. We don't have an implementation of Sharia law in this country. So whatever you want to do religiously in this country, culturally, it's not legal. They don't care. Now, second wives, second marriages have become very, very popular in the last, I'd say, decade or so, because there's been an advent of more Islamic knowledge. More people are listening to speakers. More people are attending events. More people have decided to remove or move away from the cultural aspects of Islam, or cultural aspects of the identity, and move more into the Islamic identity. So you got people who don't basically follow Pakistani cultures, rituals anymore, and they're like, listen, it's not in Islam, I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that, etc.
Which is a fair point.
Which is fair, which I don't mind.
Yeah.
But this is the problem, you see, is when you use something for your own benefit because it's there, but you're not implementing it properly, you're not using it the way it's meant to be, then all you're doing is you're abusing the religion, right? So you say, in essence, you got people who are having second marriages because they think, they know that it's their right to do so. I'm completing my sunnah. Yeah, it's sunnah to have second, third wife. Of course it is. Not a problem. Let me stop you there. Okay, what's the furthest aspect of all that? Okay, have you told your first wife? She don't need to know. Right, that's because you're bricking it, mate. Right, right, exactly right. She's gonna turf your hairy ass out. That's why. Right, that's the reason. But it's like, no, I'm completing my sunnah. I don't need to tell my first wife. No, have you told your first wife? Is your nikah out in the open? Have you announced your nikah? Have you done a walima? And then more importantly, are you treating each wife exactly the same in accordance with Quran and Sunnah, right?
Yeah.
Majority, in my experience, obviously different, horses for courses, different. In my experiences, them 4 criteria are not met. Firstly, the criteria to have a second wife, there is a criteria to that. I'm not completely au fait with it, but the reason the second marriages was allowed in Islam, certainly apart from Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in terms of us normal, in terms of the Ummah, was because obviously a lot of men died at war. The women were left on their own, so it was seen as a good thing where, okay, she then comes under your auspices, you're going to look after her, you're going to feed her, you're going to clothe her, you're going to make sure that nobody takes advantage of her. She then becomes your sharika hayat, as they say, she becomes your wife. Simple as that. This day and age, in my experience, I don't think that's the reason a lot of guys are going for second wives. A lot of it is purely to do with halal dating, justification for having somebody else in their life. So instead of going out and committing zina or having extramarital affairs, they think, I'll have a second wife. Whilst they're right in terms of actually, yes, you have the right to have a second wife, the reason you're doing it is the wrong reason.
Yeah.
Right? Because if your only reason is lust, let's be blatant about this, right? If your only reason is lust because you're bored or you want a little bit of a change, that's the wrong reason. Don't get a second marriage. The problem I have is, why are you abusing that aspect of the religion? Right? This might sound crazy and it might sound very, very controversial. Okay? But if somebody turns around to me and says, listen, mate, I had an affair, I was messing around, felt like it. Of course it's wrong. Of course it's haram. But I shouldn't have done it. But it is what it is. Right? I'll be like, okay, fair play. I got another guy, and this has actually happened to me. This guy got married, didn't tell his wife, didn't tell his kid, didn't tell his mum, didn't tell his dad, didn't tell anybody. Had a wife somewhere else. Yeah, had his nikah done online over Zoom, so nobody would know about it. Didn't announce it, didn't do anything. Year later, the second wife now wants more rights. She's like, listen, mate, you can't just keep me cooped up. I'm not your dirty little secret somewhere, which a majority of them are. I'm not your dirty little secret. You need to. He wouldn't announce it. She told his wife. She told his mum, dad. She told everybody. He's come out now, and she's gone to town on him. He's come out now. I spoke to him. He came to see me. He said, oh, she's harassing me, blah, blah. And I said, so I don't understand. You did all this. Where's the Islamic part to this?
Yeah.
You just keep saying to me, because he sat there and he kept saying, brother, I completed my sunnah. I was following back. I'm like, you had your nikah done online, which, okay, fair play. You're allowed to do that. You didn't announce it. You didn't announce the nikah. You didn't do a walima. You've not treated them equally because by your own admission, you were spending, 6 or 6.5 nights with your first wife, and then this was your little bit on the side. You didn't ask your first wife. You didn't even tell your first wife. Which part of this is sunnah then? Right? So if, in essence, you're using the religion as a shield. You're saying, I'm going to go out, I'm going to F around, but because I've got this little caveat which says I can have a second wife, I'm going to use that now for my own nefarious purposes. And when I get caught, I'm just going to say, brother, I was completing my sunnah. So who have I got more respect for? The first guy who says, listen, mate, I've effed around, shouldn't have done it. Yeah, I'm a bit of an idiot. Shouldn't have done it, yeah, but yeah, whatever, right? He's not brought religion anywhere near it. He's owned it. He's owned it. He's owned the fact that he was a bit of an idiot and yeah, he felt like messing around and he's gone into messed around. He owns it. Or the second guy who's used the religion as an excuse, who's used the religion for his own nefarious purposes, who's used the religion, and by using the religion, he's actually used that second woman as well. If you think about it, because that's the sort of candy he's given her, hasn't he? Yeah. So like, no, but it's Islamically, it's okay. But you haven't done any, is that it? You had your nikah, right? And you're going to spend one night out of 8 with her. And what is that? Is that it? Is that all Islam is? That's it? So is all your sunnah done? What about your obligations to her? What about your obligations to your first wife? What about your obligations to her children? What about your obligations to clothe her and to feed her and to make sure that she is not seen with an improper eye because she's married to you? So she can go around telling people, actually, I'm in nikah. I'm in the state of nikah with him over there. Yeah. And it's been announced. Yeah. See, we don't think like that though. We just think that first thing, but I'm allowed to do it. But I'm allowed to do it. And you're going, of course you are, but mate, there's a whole list. It's not just about, getting it done. You've got to think about this thing and think, what impact am I having on my own wife? What impact is this going to have on my children? What impact is this going to have on her children, the second wife's children? What impact is this going to have on my parents? Why am I doing it? Why am I being genuine? And do I want to help this lady out because she's got nobody else? Or is it simply because there's a bit of lust, I'm a little bit bored, I fancy her, for want of a better word? And I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying don't go out there and have a second nikah done. Because it's in Quran and Sunnah. It's there. It's part of our belief system. What I'm saying is, look at it holistically. Look at all the diagram. Don't just hone in that one little thing that says you can do it and then just use that and run with that one. Yeah. You can't do that. You just can't do it.
And how often do you face this in our community now that people are using this? How often is it?
I would say when I have come across it, that the way I described it is the way it's being used. Because some of these wives do come see me and they say, well, I got married to so-and-so in secret. We had a nikah done. Well, I've got any rights? And I said, well, you don't have any rights. They come to see if they can obviously do anything about it. Now, if they're the ones that are coming to me, I don't know how many are that are already hidden, that are still yet to come out. I'm gonna make it so that, that's the thing. Because I know 2, 3 of the sisters that I spoke to, they were under a different impression when they entered the nikah.
Really?
Right? Not entirely different, but substantially different. So if the man has basically said to them that I will look after you, you won't have to work, financially I'll support you, emotionally I'll support you, somewhere down the road, this will come out in the open and I will stand by you. Because he's not obviously thought about everything really himself. He's not thought, well, actually, my wife and my mum, my dad, come here. He just said it to her. She's then, and this is what really irks me, because she's already vulnerable to a degree, because she's already divorced. Yeah. Right? So she's divorced. She might have 2 kids. She's already in that vulnerable state. So when you've fed her, for want of a better word, them lines, of course she's going to believe it. Who's not going to want to believe it? Yeah. Who's not going to want to enter into a good marriage? Who's not going to want to be looked after and supported and financially and emotionally be looked at? Everybody wants that. But that's what you've done. But realistically, in majority, I'm not saying it's all the cases, but it's certainly obviously the ones I've come across, that's what they've done. Is just basically fed them a couple of lines, and then unfortunately the sister's fallen, and then somewhere further down the line you realise that actually this isn't what it all cracked out to be. Like, this is never going to be out in the open. This nikah is not going to be announced.
That frog didn't turn into a prince, did it?
Never does. Never does. See, the second marriages, very rarely do second marriages have a happy ever after ending.
Yeah.
It usually has a, what? You got married again ending. Do you know what I mean? You never told me.
No, it just has an ending.
It just has an ending where it's just like, listen, we need to put this under the carpet. I don't know her. I don't know her. I don't know her. Oh, don't know who she is. What nikah? Prove it. All right? Yeah. Prove it. Wow. You had your nikah done online. How are you going to prove it?
That's crazy. And you know, how does that give the image of us, of the belief system? How does that make that?
Use and abuse. Islam traditionally, in my experience, we use Islam in two ways. We never use it in the correct way. In my experience, again, I do that kind of job where it's one or the other, right? We use it as a sword or we use it as a shield. If we want somebody to do something, we'll use it as a sword. You know? If we, you know, one generation above, or even now, you got people say, you're going to get married. Yeah. You get married to my brother's daughter. And someone else said, I'm your parents. I'm your dad. In the Quran, it says you have to listen to your parents. You have to listen to your parents. We're using it as a sword. We use it as a shield when it benefits us. You know, you got married again. I'm allowed to. It's sunnah. You don't read 2 namaz a day, but you want to complete your sunnah. But you can't do your fard. You know, I mean, you barely kept 2 rosas last year, bro. Yeah, and you didn't even go Tarawih. And the one Tarawih you went to, you even farted. I heard you, right? and now you're doing your sunnah. I'm going to do my sunnah. I need to, you know, because we use it as a shield and a sword. That is literally what it is. We just use it for our own purpose. It's not, Islam isn't Islam anymore, is it? Yeah, if you're just going to use it as and when you see fit, like I've got, and like now this month. Honest to God, you go on Instagram, you go on TikTok. I've been to a couple of like friends out there give talks and stuff, or you know, just chit chatting, and the amount of arguments they've had over Milad. You know, Milad, where they do the celebration of Salam's birthday, and it's like so polarized. Yeah. No, it's bid'ah, and no, I'm not going. Are you two part of the same religion? Yeah. You know, forget the school of thought you guys follow. Why are you arguing? Why are you ripping shreds off each other online in these videos, in this, like, it's just like, and you're thinking, if I'm white and my name's Dave and I'm looking at these lot, I'm not going, nah, mate, I don't want to be part of this. Yeah. I don't want to be part of this religion. They can't agree amongst themselves. And it's not a matter of agreement. It's about letting someone do what they want to do. You want to do it? Bismillah, you go do it. Yeah, I'm not going to do it, but you know what? I'm not going to stop you.
You're accountable to on the day
exactly.
Anyway.
I'm not going to do it. But if you want to do it, I'm not going to interfere with you. I'm not going to say to you, you know, you should. No. They're like, no, but and then the other one's going, and they got these videos and they're having these arguments, debates. I'm like, going, my God, what you guys
shit show, isn't it?
It is, and you're going, why? And sometimes they'll argue over like crazy things.
And then they call each other names, and that's wrong. And you think, what is going on?
Oh, you're a this, you're a wobbler, you're blah blah, you're shit. And I'm like going, if somebody, and I always say this to people, and this is a very, very, someone said this to me. I heard it somewhere, I can't remember. It might have been Sheikh Hamza Yusuf. And he said, and it hit me a lot actually in my head. And he said, if any one of the Sahaba Ikram came back today, in this day and age, I literally just landed on earth, how many Muslims would they recognize?
Exactly none.
How many Muslims would they actually, would they look at us and the way we conduct our life and go, none. That's a Muslim?
Yeah, that's one of us.
That's one of us. How many, realistically?
No.
I don't know. I don't know the answer. What I do know, it's not a good answer.
Yeah.
Does that mean, and that should give us...
It's very shameful.
That should give us pause for thought. Yeah. Should give us a massive pause for thought. But again, we don't, because it's so, I'm right, you're wrong. I'm right, you can't do Milad. And I'm gonna have that rice. I'm gonna go to the mosque. I'm gonna eat the rice. I'm gonna have Milad, mate. I'm gonna put up the lights. No, you're not putting the lights. And you're going, just relax, man. Yes, everybody, switch off the lights and go home. Yeah, go to bed, sleep it off.
Switch off the green lights. Come on,
switch everything
off. That's it. Party's over, lads.
Yeah. Speak to my mate. He'll get you some. Just everybody just relax.
Let's get stoned. Let's get high.
I'll bring that auntie. Your son, the one who came home, was really tired that other day. Is he still got? Still got a tennis bag?
Is he in the mosque? Oh,
okay. That's fine. I'll just meet him here. Bye.
But in terms of this, the polygamy and stuff, how can we address the stigma associated with polygamy? and what can be done to ensure fair treatment of all parties involved?
Learn your religion. Read the books, read the hadiths, read the sunnah. Go back to where it started from.
It.
You know, but it's implementation. They read the little bit. See, in a 20-page judgment, they will read the bit where it says, you are allowed to have a second wife. And they go, right, scrunch up the rest of it, throw it in the bin. Right? Because it says I'm allowed to have a second wife. Go back to your religion. Learn the religion. Yeah. You know, it's there. It's in black and white. You know, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. You just learn it, implement it. And a lot of these things, I always think they come from humanity as well. When I say humanity, you don't need to be a Muslim to treat people nice. Yeah. You just got to be a human being. You know, you got all these, well, for want of a better word, like, you know, non-Muslims who are standing up for Palestine better than a lot of the Muslims.
Yeah.
Right? Why? They're not because of religion. They're not related to them. They're not affiliated by race or creed, but humanity. So bringing it back to the polygamy, if you've got a second wife, humanity should teach you that, listen, I've taken this woman in good faith. She has a lot of expectations from me. Yeah. I'm not going to let that down. I'm not going to, put water over them. I'm not going to just treat her like a piece of meat because, I've got married to her and my religion allows it. So, don't just take something and take advantage of it. Learn your religion. Go speak to a scholar. First thing you should do, is ask yourself why. Why do you want to get married again? If it's because of you fancy her, you lust after her, it'll pass. It'll pass. These things, emotions pass. You don't want to bind somebody for life with you, and you don't want to be bound to somebody for life over one reason only. But if you like everything, you like her personality, you get on, you think she needs looked after, she wants to be looked after, you have got a lot to offer, you've got everything, do it. Mutual understanding, do it. But remember what you're promising and what she's expecting from you, and remember the Quran and Sunnah. You've got to fulfill it.
100%.
Right, that's the key for me. That's the most important thing.
Of course, I mean, it's got to be an important thing for everyone now. You can't just lie to someone and then expect them to stay wherever they are.
I know, but this leads on to another thing: divorcee women in our society.
I was just about to come to that now.
Yeah, that's what it leads on to,
and that is a huge problem.
Massive. You know why?
Huge problem.
In our culture, in our society, unfortunately, we still see women who are divorced as second-class citizens. Simple as that. There's no left and right. In Pakistani community, certainly, I can't speak for any other community. I don't belong to it. And like Indian community, I know it's the same. We treat them like second-class citizens. We don't treat them with dignity a lot of the times. We treat them with pity.
Yeah.
We treat them like we treat...
Oh, she's divorced.
We treat them like we treat a terminal ill...
It's really bad.
Patient.
Yeah.
Oh, pichari. Well, hang on a minute. She's happy though. She's chilling. Like she's been divorced, but she just came out of an abusive relationship. She's back on her feet. She's looking after her kids. She's made a success of her life.
Yeah.
But the view is that she's still a divorcee though. And there's
really bad.
And I've said this a few times. It's our culture and the way we say things and the way we project says a lot. See, in our culture, I don't know anybody of a certain age group who uses the word that we're meant to use, which is talaq shuda. She's got talaq, she's talaq shuda. We use derogatory words.
Yeah.
We'll say, somebody let her go. Not that she's the one who let him go. Again, it comes back to see, all these things fit in a weave. It comes back to that toxic, patriarchal society. She's a chuttal. That's a word in Punjabi. It's called chuttal. Like somebody has let her go. Chor diti. You know what chor diti is? Like someone's let you go. Yes. So chuttal is basically when you let go of somebody. Like she is what somebody has let go of. Chor diti.
Like it's like somebody was holding on to her and then let go.
So chor diti, yeah? That's literally Punjabi, right? Chor diti. He's let go of her. So therefore, because someone's let go of her, she's now a chuttal. Someone who has been let go. Now that's Punjabi, that's our culture. This is Pakistani I'm talking about. And I think the same word exists in Punjab as in India, Punjab, Sikhism as well. Yeah. Now, if we're going to use language like that, which from its inception, when we talk about these women, is derogatory. Straight away. You know, when you talk about so-and-so's sister, so-and-so's daughter, or is she a divorcee? No, she's a chuttal. Now, you having said that word, you've already put a stamp on it. Like how we're going to treat her by the way we've, you know, it's like, you know, in America years ago, and, you know, even now, I suppose, but, you know, years ago, they used to use the N-word. Yeah. So if you were white and straight away used the N-word, you knew what that person's view was of black people because that's his go-to word. Now, if us lot are still using them kind of words, that's what society's going to treat them like. We treat them like second-class citizens. We say, I know many people who say to divorcees, just get married to anybody. You know, someone's going to put their hand on your head. Just say yes. Terrible. I had one girl who's now become my client not so long ago. She met somebody on Monday, for argument's sake.
Monday?
No, as in like, I'm just, you know, I'm not singing Craig David, you know what I mean? So, I should have rehearsed it actually. But no, for argument's sake, let's say she met somebody on Monday. Tuesday, he came to her house, her parents' house, with a Mulvey.
Wow.
Is
this a true story?
Custom says true. So what absolutely true. Absolutely true. Said to the dad, I like your daughter. I seen her. He saw her on a wedding on Sunday. That was it. She went to a wedding and he found out she was a divorcee and they lived really far apart though. I think she's from up north. He was from down south somewhere. He rocked up at our parents' house on, I think, Monday, Tuesday, literally like a day, within like a 4-day period.
Yeah.
With a Mulvey who happened to be like a cousin or whatever. And he went, I want to marry your daughter and I want to marry her now. Like right here, right now. Dad went, she's a divorcee. She's got 4 kids. There's a strong chance nobody else is going to come along. She's of a certain age, let's say, like, I don't know, late 30s, early 40s, right?
Yeah.
Daughter, you need to do it. Wow. She's like, Mom, I don't really know him. He's like, no. I'm, however old I am, the dad. I'm not going to be around long. Mom's not going to be around. Your siblings are not going to look after you. Yeah. This guy's come straight away and he wants to marry you today. And he's seen you. Bismillah, let's do the nikah. They did the nikah there and then.
Wow.
Wallahi, as I'm sat here.
I mean, fair play to the guy.
Slight
done
problem,
it the properly way. He went and he could have done anything.
Yeah.
But that's a bit.
Didn't tell him he was married with 6 kids though.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah. Right. But, and this is a big but now.
I jumped the gun there.
Right. No. But, right. But, wallahi, he was already married with 6 kids. But, you tell me the honest, God's honest truth as you're sat there today, would he have the kahunas to do that if she was completely single?
No.
Right. Then my question to society at large and your viewers is, why then? Because that perception, that image persists. So if she was completely single, she'd never been married and she was 23, he would not have the kahunas to rock up at her house with a Mulvey. He wouldn't.
Yeah.
Right? And the dad would have probably turfed him out and the brothers would have like lynched him. Yeah. Right? And they would say, listen, we're going to do full research on you. We don't know who you are. We want to know who your dad is. We want to know what your pet dog's name is. We want to know everything before we even go there.
Yeah.
But because she's divorced.
See, they both are at fault now, aren't they? The parents.
But this is what I'm saying. It's a global thing. It's not, but it's a society thing. Obviously in my work, I know a lot of divorced women. I would say a lot of these divorced women have become good friends. Certainly a select few of them. And honest to God, before I got into this sort of industry, you know, like my work and stuff, maybe I had similar views because again, I was brought up in a certain way, right? Bradford, 1980s. You meet these women and they go through the divorce and they're one human being. They're like, you know, a little bit broken, completely broken sometimes. And then they come out and honest to God, you see that spike, that surge of, you know what, I'm going to smash life because I'm not being held back. I ain't got this thing on the husband. I'm not controlled. I'm not being coerced. I'm not being triggered. I'm not boom. I'm going to go full steam ahead. Full steam ahead. And these girls smash it. I know women who have set up their own businesses. I know one of my very good friends who's a divorcee. She came as my client. She's got college. She's got her own college on her own. Divorced woman. She just did it. And I was like, you know, I was so happy for her. I was like, and I say to her sometimes jokingly, I said, do you remember the first day me and you spoke? The very first day prior to your divorce. I said, look where you were then and look where you are now. I said, can you turn around your own neck And can you see how far you've come? And she's like, it's unbelievable. And I said, that's the momentum you need to keep going. And these women, they're not broken. They're not dispirited. And they're not on the breadline. They're not any of that. These are real human beings with real issues, with real guts, I would say, who have kind of said to their own society, listen, I'm not putting up with this crap anymore, and I'm going to forge my own path. I'm not doing anything wrong. Again, if having a second wife is in Quran and Sunnah, getting a divorce is also in Quran and Sunnah. Yeah. We are the only major religion in the world, that has divorce. Christianity doesn't have it. Catholicism, hence, obviously, Henry VIII, set up Church of England because he couldn't divorce his wife. Hence, we have until death do us part. You've heard that, haven't you? Until death do us part. That's in Catholicism. That's why in legal terminology, judicial separation came in because they weren't allowed to actually get divorced. So they brought in judicial separation, which means you're legally separated, but you're not actually divorced. Hinduism, there's no such thing as divorce. Sikhism, no such thing as divorce.
Wow.
Islam is the only religion, major religion in the world, that has divorce. That has not only the concept, but the procedure of how to go about divorce as well. Now,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Only major religion in the world. Right. So if the man, earlier, if he can get married again, and society won't blink an eye, if this woman wants to come out of an abusive relationship, she wants to come out of a toxic relationship for her own sake, for the sake of her future and for the sake of her children's future, why are we as a society looking at her going, either they give her the Bicheri Act, or they give her there's something wrong with her. She's divorced. There's something wrong with her. She's divorced. And that stigma makes it very difficult for these divorced women to then get back on the horse, to go back out there and maybe look for marriage. Because again, it's still that, she's a divorcee.
Do you reckon it's that family pressures and expectations?
From who, the guys or the girls?
Well, both, especially for the girls.
For the girls, it's who's going to marry you now? Yeah. Because they say that because of the first part, which is guys don't want to marry divorcees. See, I think that's changing,
I know,
okay, but
people are just kind of opening up a little bit. I think
it is, but not fast enough. Yeah. And secondly, it's not always like if I was a divorcee, I got married to a divorcee, nobody's gonna bat an eyelid.
Yeah,
my parents ain't gonna say jack, right? If you use your imagination yourself and you think about your friends for 1 second, right? You got a friend who's 32, 33, completely single, bloke, never been married before. Apple of his parents' eyes. He's a chartered accountant, or a pharmacist. Where, parents are doting. He comes home and says, Dad, I've met somebody. Brilliant. She's 30. Brilliant. She's younger than you. That's even better. It fits in. But she's divorced with 2 kids.
Oh, it's a
what?
It's a problem.
Right. Why? Is my question. And this is the crazy thing. This is why I always bang my head. Our Prophet ﷺ, his first wife, right? So this is pre-prophethood, right?
Yeah.
He got married to who? He got married to Khadija.
Yeah.
She was 15 or 20, depending on which narration you believe. Like, obviously, the different narration. She was either 15 to 20 years older than him.
Yeah.
She was a divorcee.
Regardless.
And she was a divorcee.
Right. She was older.
She was a lot older than him. Like, a lot older. We're talking minimum 10 years.
And she was a businesswoman.
And she was a divorcee.
Yeah.
So not only have we got, which is really ironic, the 3 biggest toxic traits within Pakistani community, you've got to be older than the girl. That's always a must, right?
Yeah.
And she has to be financially, economically lower than you. And she has to be, single. Kwari.
Yeah.
Right?
I was going to say fresh.
Fresh, virginal. Yeah, not untouched, still in the packaging. Right? All the 3 things, right?
Yeah.
Our Sallallahu in his one wife, the first wife, all 3 were dismissed. And that was his example. We say we're following Quran and Sunnah. Well, that is Sunnah, isn't it? That was his example.
Yeah.
Minimum 10 years older, businesswoman, that he worked for her. Remember, she employed him.
Wow.
Khadija employed Sallallahu.
Yeah.
It wasn't the other way around. She said, he's a trustworthy man. People speak highly of you, and I'm going to entrust you with my thingy caravan. Yeah, I think it was going to Abyssinia or to Syria. I'm going to entrust you with that. And she was a divorcee. Them 3 things. And now, in this day and age, you have one of them 3. Forget all 3. If you had all 3, half the community would have a bloody heart attack. Does that make sense? Yeah, I'm getting married to my boss. She's 10 years older and she's a divorcee. Mum's gone, poof, I'm straight away dead. Yeah. And what is community going to say? What your Allah's going to say? And you can't look at him going, well, I thought we were doing the whole Quran, so nothing. No. So again, it keeps coming back to the same thing. You got to educate yourselves. You have to educate yourselves. You got to, if we're going to lift society up, it can't just be lifting one here and one there. It's got to come up together like that. We've got to lift all of it up. And when you lift it up, what you're doing is you're helping the ones below you.
Yes.
See, if we keep saying to these divorced women, you're divorcees, they're a bitch, she's a divorcee, leave her. Well, nobody's going to marry her. Someone's going to marry her. She ain't going to ever get lifted up.
Yeah.
But we start lifting them up, going, you know what? There's nothing wrong with you. There's, you can marry. And guys openly say, I don't care if I'm single or divorced or whatever, I want to marry a divorcee, or if I like her. I'm not going to make the divorce thing the problem. It's not going to be the deal breaker.
Yeah.
If you happen to be divorced, the
way I look at it, it's like if, for example, you and another person, you were married 15 years or 10 years or 5 years or whatever it was, and you had a divorce, you're just not compatible with that person. That's all it is.
It's either compatibility or there is basically,
toxic in-laws or something like that.
There's, in our community, it's predominantly toxic in-laws, domestic violence.
Yeah.
But again, them two things stem from somewhere. They don't come into being in isolation. See, domestic violence is something that he's seen before. Yeah. He's either seen his dad do it, or he's grown up in a household where as soon as the dad walked in, everybody just went, like, oh my God, we better be on best behavior, right? Which is a form of domestic violence.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, so
it used to be brilliant.
But
do you know looking back, I wanted to be like that. Walk in the house and everyone was like,
right. For you, it's like, I am the, right? Yeah. What's going on with them? The people that are doing the, right?
Can you imagine walking in the house and everyone's like,
right?
That's a brilliant feeling,
it's a brilliant feeling for you. For you. See what I mean?
know, yeah, for me, that's what I'm talking about.
Let's reverse the camera. Let's turn the camera around. What's going on in the people who are actually doing the, right? What's going on in their heads?
Well, they must be doing something shady.
Either that or they're being so ingrained
Yeah.
that every time they see you, they just poop their pants.
Yeah.
Right.
Brilliant.
Now, that's literally what, yeah, brilliant. Walk in and dad's here. So great. But these girls, and these guys, that's what they've seen in their family. And what they're doing is just pushing that down into their own family. Because they don't know how to communicate, because the dad never communicated with the mum. Dad used to, they
12, 13, 14 hours they spent.
They weren't 13, 14 hours. They go, roti, that was it. And that was
the communication.
That was them saying, "Are you all right, love? You had a good day. I love you." Roti. That was it. That was all three in one thing. Yeah. And the woman, and that was it. And that was their thing in love language.
Yeah.
Right now.
And that was I love you too.
Yeah, I love you too. I miss you loads. 12 hours. It's got a bit big. Better start again. So, but nowadays you can't do that. Like I said before, you can't. They're not going to stand for it. But that's, and that's where the divorces are coming in. In-laws, they don't help.
Yeah.
Stay out of people's lives, man. What is wrong with you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got women interfering, you got men interfering. And what happens? I've seen this a lot. The guys give up.
The guys give up.
They give up.
The guys don't know the rights for their families.
And the rights for the wife.
And the rights for their wives.
Yes. They don't have to separate the two relationships.
Yeah, and they're equally important.
Yes, but they don't know how to separate them.
Yeah. And
they can't do it.
I think the problem is when they mix the two things up. Yeah. They think if they say anything that goes against the mom, regardless if she's wrong, he's gonna upset the mom, and then that's it. The whole family's gonna go against it.
That is literally what happens.
Rather than sitting down and say, look, okay, can we not do this? I know you're right or you're wrong, and you're right and you're wrong or whatever. We need to get on with it.
But the thing is
mom's right or father's right. That's it.
Yeah. Either mom's right or the wife's right. And if the wife's right, mum's going to say, he's under his wife's control. Do you see that?
Yeah.
He's disrespecting his mom. His wife's got full control, and you're going to go, and the guy's going, toxic. Can't. He believes his mum, his wife's going to go, you know what? You're never going to listen to me.
I've got no rights. He's a mummy's boy.
He's a mummy's boy. I'm not. I had a friend. He did an awesome one. Every time his mum and his wife were arguing, they live in the same house. He literally walked into the kitchen once, and they were arguing. And his mum was obviously pulling him on one side, saying, "Your wife is like this, and she said this, and bagaret and blah." And his wife's going, "I can't live with your mum, and she said this, and I'm." And literally, he goes, "I went to the cupboard, opened the drawer. He goes, I pulled out 2 big knives. He goes, I gave one to my mum, gave one to my wife, and said, you know what, we can kill each other." And he goes, I walked out. And he goes, that kind of shook them both up, because I didn't side with anybody. I just said, this is basically...
They were like...
Yeah, they were just like, what's going on here? And he goes, it made him realize that he wasn't the problem. Them two's dynamic was the problem. Yeah. What they were doing was just crushing him in the middle. They were forcing him to fall on this side of the fence or on that side of the fence. I'm not saying it had a happy ending, because they ended up moving out. Because in the end, it was just like, you know what? Either I'm going to divorce my wife, or I'm going to end up killing somebody. So I'm just going to remove myself from the situation.
So that's why it's best to move homes.
Yeah, but then again, it's whether that family dynamic allows you to do that.
Well, you have to.
Yeah, but it comes down to you as well.
But yeah, exactly. It's because at that point now, it's not about the family dynamic allows you. You have to.
But yes and no, because if you're brought up with a certain mindset, you're not going to even know that in order to save my marriage, I need to move. Because that's not what you've been taught.
Yeah.
You've been taught marriage is about you being the man. But again, back to toxic masculinity. You've been taught you're the man, she's the wife, she has to listen to you. It's absolutely chucking it outside, isn't it? Yeah. It's pelting it. So that's what you've been taught. So you're not even going to think that there might be a third way. That actually, you know what, maybe this isn't the only route to save my marriage, you know, like to live life. I can actually do it like this as well. It's just not going to hit your head. And then what happens? The wife ends up leaving. Simple as that. Or she carries on living there and just being treated like a doormat while the husband goes out and does what he wants. Where he's just like, you know what, I'm through with this. Because a lot of the time what they do, especially if they're married from backyard, back home, Pakistan, they will always turn around to the mum and dad and say, you wanted me to marry her. She's here. You're looking after her. I'm off. She's got nothing to do with me. I only married her because you wanted me to. And I brought her here because you wanted me to. Because she's your niece or she's mum's niece or dad's niece or whatever it is. You look after her now. And I was thinking, poor girl. Poor girl. She's just stuck in the middle now. Neither here nor there.
It's really bad, you know.
It is bad.
It's so shameful as well.
But it's our community. This is what I'm saying. So these are the things that people need to talk about. They need to address. And I'm still surprised that in this day and age, you know, going to Pakistan to get married is an option. But so many people are doing it. And I was thinking, how? Like, what's the compatibility level?
Yeah, there isn't.
Maybe 40 years ago, I got it. Because the compatibility, like my sister got married about 35 years ago. There was compatibility because she grew up in a very Pakistani household. Brother-in-law was in Pakistan. There was none of this, you know.
But there's no social media back then.
Nothing.
Everybody was just kind of,
everybody's the same. Right now, what is a girl who's, let's say, 20, 22 from England, who's been exposed to Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, everything, shisha bars, fashion, going out. And I'm not saying it's wrong, but that's what she's exposed to, and that's her world. She's going to get married to...
Shokat.
Muda. Right? Muda sat on a bridge with his flip-flops on, picking his nose, waiting for the local donkey to come along. Right? In which I don't know which world in Avengers multiverse do you think that is a good idea? Does that make sense?
It's a Marvel, isn't it?
It is, but all they look at is the relationship.
Yes.
See, they think the relationship will pull through. So they'll think, because it's my nephew or because it's my niece, as the parent, I will make this work. And this is a very good statistic, actually. In my work, in last, I'd say 3, 4, maybe 5 years, I've seen a lot of girls, predominantly girls, who are in their late 40s, early 50s getting divorced. Like the girls are from here, right? So they brought over the Pakistani guy.
The bros, yeah.
And they're getting divorced. And it was interesting. I was thinking, why is that? Now I'm speaking to a couple of the girls who are getting divorced. The glue that held them together was the parents. See, because she's married to a chacha's son, which basically means her dad and his dad, obviously brothers, right? And there's got a community behind them and the mums and everything, right? So dad's dead. Chacha's dead. Mum's dead. Kids are in their late 20s. Flown the nest. Married, doing what they're on. So Shagufta is looking at Muda going, what are we doing together?
Wow.
I'm still 47, 48. The world is out there. It's open to me. I can divorce you because the kids are all grown up, mum and dad not around, and we don't fundamentally get on anyway. We've never got on, but we just stayed together because our parents held us together. That, you know, the umbrella held us together. They've gone now.
But don't you think that's wrong as well?
It is wrong, completely wrong. But in what sense are you saying it's wrong? Because it might be a different one, I've got a feeling.
See, you've been together with that person, you've grown feelings, then you've got children. Because the way I see now, I've got a little one, and it's all about him now. Me and my wife.
Right, okay.
Bring him up.
Yeah, but your little one's 28. He's flown the nest. He's got his own wife. He's got his own kid.
Don't you think it's a bit too late now to know?
No.
I'm 60 now.
Right, no. But these girls are between 45 and 50.
Yeah.
They're on social media. They're on TikTok. They're making videos.
They're getting that
attention,
yeah.
Whereas 20 years ago, they wouldn't have got the attention because, first of all, there was no social media. Second of all, they all had tashes and a bit of a walk there. So they wouldn't have got any bloke looking at them, to be honest with you. Right, but now...
Then you got the makeup now, you got the social... And then you got the filters.
You got filters, right?
I put that up last night. I was just having a thought, and I put up a status on my Facebook. I do a rant here and there. And I wrote, just having a laugh, you know. You wear makeup, then you add a filter to it, right? And then you look for a real man. Good luck.
Yeah.
And with the laughing emojis, you know.
But
how does that even make sense?
But this is the problem we have now. Everybody's got unrealistic expectations. Not only the single girls and single guys, divorced women and even divorced guys. Nobody's
even
realistic.
Married couples have this expectation. Okay.
Because this is what we've been fed. This is what social media and the world is feeding us, that your marriage has to be like this. If it's not like this, then it's not successful.
See, that's what I like, the old school parenting, man.
No. See, the old school parenting.
Why break something when it works?
Right. I tell you why. Yeah, I agree with you. I'd get arrested, but I agree with you, right? You know what I mean? Right.
I'll happily lose my license.
Yeah. So, but them problems didn't exist when we were kids. So when our parents did smack,
yeah,
it wasn't because of the issues that are prevalent now.
Yeah,
they were different issues.
We got battered for today. We got battered in advance.
We used to get battered anyway.
Yeah, for advance. For you,
your neighbour could batter you and your dad say, and
yeah,
I just so and so slapped me. Good, you must have done something wrong. Hello, am I allowed a defence? You know what I mean? So honestly, you know, I mean, you play outside, you come home. What time is it? 8:05. Tell you come home at 8. All right then. Do you know nowadays? What are you going to do?
But
with
don't
kids?
You think that generation of kids have that respect, that level of respect?
It's ingrained.
Today.
But it's engraved. Right. But for me, the question is the respect ingrained or is it genuine? Like, is it become second nature with no emotions behind it, or is it genuine?
I think it's genuine.
Like nowadays, this generation, you have to imbue it into them.
Yeah,
it's not going to come naturally to them. It's just not going to come naturally
because they're just going to be jumping off.
But not only that. Like I said, the expectation levels that they've got of this generation, of this, of getting married and doing things, it's based on not on our parents and not on us. It's based on what's out there now.
Yeah,
it's based on whoever's popular nowadays. I don't know about these. You know, I can't think of anybody young because I don't know anybody young who's popular. I don't know Millie Vanilli, whatever she's called. Well, I don't know what these little. What's she called?
MC Muda.
You got MC Muda. Do you know what I mean? And you've got what's the other one? I don't know, Adele, and Tina Wina and all these lot. That's it, Shagufta Grande. I think she called Shagufta Grande, something like that. Or is it Ariana Bushra?
Yeah, so Ariana Bushra.
It's Ariana Bushra.
Yeah.
So they have more of an influence on our kids than we do now.
Yeah.
We didn't have that as kids. The only influence we had as kids was watching Bollywood movies.
Yeah,
and then you like jump on the sofa thinking you were like Amitabh Bachchan. Do you know what I mean? And your dad walk in and go, Dral. And you go, okay, maybe I'm not. You know, you just need to sit down. Right, but that was it. But now, this is the world. And the expectations, going back to the marriage expectation, I've got a lot of youngish cousins, nieces, nephews, mainly nieces, nephews and friends.
And now you have to be that cool uncle.
I am a cool. I don't have to be. I am.
Cool. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I am. I roll up everything for them, and you know. So You speak to them and say, "What are you looking for in a marriage?" You know, I've got a really good friend. She's 20. She's going to be 25, and I said to her, "What are you looking for in a partner?" Or you know, you're 25. Your mum and dad might have said to you, "Get married and stuff." First thing she said, "He's got to be nice looking. Not good looking, not handsome. He's got to be nice looking." I said, "Is that generally or eye of the beholder? Right? Is it to you or generally?" Generally. Right?
Okay,
so again,
everyone has to like him.
So again, there's that social pressure there.
Yeah.
Straight away, you got the social pressure. He's got to have a nice car. That's a must. He's got to be on a certain type figure salary. He's got to do X, Y. So the list was about 4 or 5 long. Not once in anywhere there was there a mention of character, personality, values, nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely
religious
nothing.
values.
Religious values. Nothing.
Praying and
Nothing. It's all
materialistic.
It's all sheen. It's all the filter. You know, it's all about taking a camera and basically it's everything that can be filmed, that can be photographed. His suit, his face, his car, where he works, what he's earning, if it's in a nice photo frame. You know, you could take a picture of that and put it on Snap. You can't put somebody's values and characters on Snap. You can't put somebody's religious beliefs on Instagram. But we're not interested in that anymore. We want so, you know, we've become a society of memes. That's basically what it is. Everything now, like if you look at a meme or you look at a GIF, right? Like 3 seconds, aren't there? You look at it and someone's doing something daft and you laugh and you go, "Oh, well done, right, boom, move on." Whole of society's like that now.
Yeah.
Yeah? Whole of society's like that. Something's broken. You know what? I'm going to ring Amazon. I'm going to order Amazon. I'm going to order online. Amazon will deliver it within, 12 hours. When we were kids, something broke. Like I remember our toaster broke. My eldest brother got a screwdriver, got the plug, unplugged it, looked at the fuse, went, "Right, you go to the corner shop, get this, you do this, blah, 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 we'll fix it, plug it back in, right, toaster's working." Now a toaster breaks down, you go on Amazon and you go, "I can get the Essential for $4.99. Should be here by 10 o'clock. Right, bing bong bosh.
Just time for breakfast.
Yeah, just right. We've taken that element and put it into our own lives now. You don't like someone? Are you having an argument? Yeah, let's not work on it. I'm going to divorce you. Yeah, you go back to your mum's. I'm going to go back to my dad's, whatever. Okay, thank you, everybody. Welcome. We just become a fast society.
Yeah,
super fast. We don't work on anything anymore. We don't have the patience anymore. We don't sit down and go, "Okay, let's try to figure this shit out. If it can be figured out, let's try to figure it out. Let's talk about it." People get married now. It's the same. People spend more time, more effort, more money on the wedding than they do getting to know their husband or wife. Fact.
Yeah.
I guarantee people have not sat down with their future husband or wife and talked about their character, about their deen, about their belief system, than they have talking about what car they're going to hire on the day. They've probably spent more time sat down going, "You want an S3? I don't like, I do S3? No, I want F4, I want an F4, I want an E-Class. Do you want the smoke bombs? Do you want a green one?" Spent 2 hours doing that rather than going, "Actually, you know what? Tell me, let's talk about your belief system.
How do you earn your money?"
How do you earn your money? Where do you see us in 5 years? Yeah. How do you see us growing in terms of values? How do you see us growing in terms of belief system? What is it you bring to the table? What is it I bring? In terms of life, not in terms of money, just in terms of life. Where is it that where I might be lacking somewhere, you're going to fill that bit in? Because a lot of Asian marriages, even first generation, believe it or not, they were about jigsaws. Where the husband was lacking a little bit, the wife stepped in.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of my friends, they used to always complain their dad doesn't go to any weddings. When we were kids, it was like, my dad works till 2 in the afternoon. So the mum used to go, bichari. She'd have to go because they had to do the customary stuff. Yeah. And she'd have to give and whatever gold, rings and stuff. So again, it was about fitting in. Nobody's worried about that. Now it's like, which hall are we going to book? How many stars are we going to have? Where are we going to go on honeymoon? What are we going to do this? Yeah. Which photographer? We've stopped. The problem is we've closed our heart.
The guy could be a drug dealer.
They don't give monkeys.
Right, because they've not done their research. Yeah. The guy could be doing drugs and, he's flashing the cash. And okay, cool. They know they can spend 100 grand on a haul. They're going to get this, they're going to get that. And then somebody else sees that. Obviously, no one's done their research who the guy is or the girl is or whatever it is. And they've just seen 200 grand splashed on the wedding. Now the next wedding that's going to happen is they're going to go and get £210,000 loan.
Yes.
To beat that shit.
Yes. Yes.
And then.
And I've seen it.
And have £210,000 of debt before they even got married.
Yeah.
And now they both have to work.
But the question is why? Why? So the community can do bale
Yeah.
for a week.
So now they start in a new part of their life with £200,000 debt. They both have to work. They don't spend time. They get pissed off about work. They come home. See you later. Divorce. Thank you. Bye bye.
That is literally.
So who's going to pay the 200?
Right. Well, there you go.
And the bank's like, who's paying the?
You need to pay for the wedding. We're not going to. You can't pay back in chicken tikka masala. We need actual cash. This is what happens. This is literally what happens.
Crazy.
But this is, it's all about show.
Yeah.
And the social media is all about show. It's not about character. It's not about character. It's about.
My wife sometimes shows me. She goes, "Look at this." She had a massive Instagram wedding. It was all over socials. A month later or something, the divorce. I said, "Well, now what?" And
because your followers on Instagram are not going to dictate whether you got a successful marriage. Your followers on Instagram, TikTok, and your videos and the likes and the loves and the forwards and all that crap, they're not going to dictate your life.
No.
But you have made it your life. You've made it like, hang on a minute, I need this.
I need 1,000 likes. I need 100,000.
Again, it's about validation, but you're seeking validation from the wrong place.
Yeah.
You're seeking validation from the wrong place. Your validation, A, needs to come from within. B, it needs to come jointly with whoever you're going to get married to. Is he or she happy and am I married? And am I happy? And are we heading in the same direction in life? If the answer to that is yes, you've got your validation. Are my kids growing up with the right values, with the right morals?
Very important.
Right? If they are, you got your validation. Not, well, actually, you know what? So-and-so really liked my video and so-and-so made a comment and so-and-so did this and I've got 50,000, whatever it is, likes and hearts and all that. And I need that validation. It's hollow. It means nothing in the grand scheme of things. But where our brains have become so twisted, that's what we're after. Yeah. That is what gives us the juice now. Nothing else.
Nothing else. And nothing else matters.
Nothing else matters.
You know, your family doesn't matter to you. Your marriage doesn't matter to you.
It's
because
all about the
why they can go and, if someone gets divorced, they can go and find another person overnight.
Oh, like that. Like I said, you're 2 clicks away from crazy. You're 2 clicks away on a phone or a tablet. You're 2 clicks away from anything.
You make an account on Tinder, and before you know it, 2 days later, you're out on a date.
Like that. And there's no patience. There's no, like, you know what? Like, you know, we do Islamic divorces and the women always say, you know, the iddah period, right? The iddah period. You know, am I allowed to do this and I'm allowed to do that? And I've heard this. And I will say to them, no, iddah period is primarily for reflection. It's to literally, you know, nobody says lock yourself away. It's to sit down. First of all, it's to determine that you're not expecting, but you know yourself you're not expecting because you might have been separated for a year, 2 years or whatever. Is to reflect on, hang on a minute, where did this marriage go wrong? Why did we end up at this place? How can I avoid that in the future? I just need to take stock and sit down and I want to relax and I want to sort everything out. And that's what this period is. You know, and that's what we're lacking in society as a whole. Nobody is just stopping, sitting down and thinking, where are we heading? As a ummah and as a society, a Pakistani Asian society I'm talking about, where are we heading? What rabbit holes are we going down? And is that where we want to go? By rejecting everything that's come before us, which we predominantly have now to a certain degree, by rejecting all that, where have we ended up? And is it going to get better or is it going to get worse?
Exactly. On that note, that was a good ending. That was.
Yeah.
that was a sweet, smooth ending. That was.
Hit the sweet spot.
Yeah. So before we end it, tell us what your firm does.
Yep.
So people know if they need any help.
Yeah. So I run a legal services company called Clear Sky Legal Limited. Clear Sky Legal Services Limited. We specialize in divorce, matrimonial finances, Children Act matters, i.e. you want to see a child, and Islamic divorces. I also own Clear Sky Healing, which is an offshoot from Clear Sky Legal.
I want to do a podcast about that, you know.
Yeah, I think that I'll bring the lady down, Aisha.
Yeah,
she's
definitely.
brilliant. She's brilliant. So I also own that as well, with Aisha as well, which helps women are either going through a divorce, have been through a divorce, with an emotional and mental journey, basically.
Wow.
Trying to get them from what we call from hurting to wholesome. That's basically our thingy tagline, and Alhamdulillah, it's been absolutely brilliant. We've only been selling less than a year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's gone like that.
Fantastic. So you need those divorces coming through then?
Yeah, but
quickly.
Exactly. So ringers. But no, it's been absolutely brilliant, to be honest.
Oh,
so I can't complain at all.
Fantastic. And you have a website?
Yeah, www.cskylegal.co.uk.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope it was a very insightful episode. I really enjoyed it. There was some ups and downs. We had some good chit chats, good laughs, some serious points, and some very important points as well. How to, parent a child. At the end of the day, it's for your own benefit, really. I can't tell you how to parent your child or whatever. Everyone's got their own kind of programs and structures in their household. Fine, as long as the child is respectful and looks after themselves, and that's the main thing. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for listening. I know it was a bit of a long one, but we've done longer ones than this. But thank you very much, Jav.
No, thank you for having me.
Or should I call you Uncle?
Jav's good, man. Jav's good. You're only 10 years younger than me. Behave yourself.
And on that note, thank you very much. God bless you, Jay. This is getting shorter and shorter. This is.
I was going to say.
Thank you very much. God bless you. Islamic.